Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on this channel. Before I begin it, I want to bring up the warning for the game itself, which explains that this game is more of an experience. Still, also one that can cause discomfort and seizures if you have epilepsy, so be careful when watching this, or simply do not watch this. I recommend watching the balance video if you haven't already, but with that, you have been warned. I guess twice. So let's get into the mirror, where we will be unpacking the mirror's effects on us when we have the lights off. Before we actually start the experiment, I want to say that we will be going off the effects that occur by leaving the room. First, let's talk about the gameplay of the mirror. You start in a room with a mirror, a light switch, and a paper that lists what you must do. It's an experiment to which you are a willing subject. Looking at yourself in the mirror will describe you as you. And looking at the light switch just says turn off the lights. As you turn off the lights and look into the mirror, the effects begin. One of the key elements of the mirror is a gradual buildup of tension and fear that the game creates. As the player stares into the mirror, they may begin to start feeling a small sense of unease or discomfort, as the visual and auditory effects become more intense. As you turn off the lights and look into the mirror, the gradual effects on the player begin. At first, your face may twitch in the mirror, and later the door will open, though the door is closed in reality. Exiting the room at this stage will result in the log reporting sights of slight anxiety, but overall mental stability. However, if you wait in the room for all previous effects or effects mentioned to occur, the atmosphere will begin to change. The room will turn red, and looking into the mirror will no longer show your reflection as you, but instead say me, with questioning it. Exiting the room at this point will result in the log reporting that you were appearing incredibly anxious, with audible and visual hallucinations. The footage, which is your gameplay, will also show progressive discomfort in the subject. However, if you want to wait longer, moss will begin to appear on the walls of the room, and looking into the mirror may show words like void, null, beast, or no one. The light switch will also no longer say turn on the light if you approach it, but rather will say end this madness. Wanting to turn off the light, instead of saying turn off the light, will simply say please no. Exiting the room at this stage will result in the log reporting that you were left in a daze and unable to give a coherent recollection of what occurred. Signs of extreme anxiety and trauma will also be present in the footage. The last effect is the ending effect. After experiencing all of which we have explained right now, staying in the room long enough will cause a black figure resembling your character to emerge from the ground. Blood will also be visible on the walls as it slowly comes down. The character, the black figure resembling you, will slowly approach you, transitioning between your character's shadow and a bunny man. Noise and audible whispers will become louder. And finally, the screen will go black. The log will report that the experiment was terminated and that you had followed instructions but had begun to display progressively worrying symptoms. The footage will show you freezing in place before suddenly collapsing due to a heart attack. The authorities, both security and medical authorities, were notified of the incident. And with that, the game ends. Credits are shown, and the prompt saying that it is safe to leave is shown in the game. What we witness in the mirror is the Troxler effect and the strange face in the mirror phenomenon. The Troxler effect is a well-known optical illusion that occurs when a person stares at a fixed point for an extended period of time, causing your peripheral vision to fade away and objects in the periphery to disappear or appear to be distorted, which is seen by the twitching of the character and as the unchanging stimulus causes this to happen. In other words, the brain lacks something to trigger it, which just leads it to making stuff up. The other known phenomenon is the strange face in the mirror effect, also known as the strange face illusion. This is a phenomenon which people report seeing distorted and sometimes monstrous or animal-like versions of their own face when staring at their reflection in the mirror in dim light for a prolonged period of time. However, there is no real evidence to suggest that this phenomenon is associated with auditory hallucinations. One important thing that I want to note about this phenomenon is that we don't exactly know what or why this happens, only theories surrounding it. This is seen by what occurs, with the moss on the walls, the blood, the shadow figure, as well as the bunny man who approaches us in the game. However, it is to note that both are visual, with the auditory hallucinations likely being sensory isolation, something that can happen when one is placed in a dark or quiet room, which is seen by the room itself. You don't really hear anything other than the hallucinations itself, so the quietness and the fact that it is under dim or no light at all can definitely trigger something like sensory isolation. Additionally, it seems that our character becomes more distorted and gravely affected by the effects of the mirror, leading them to question their own identity and existence. The experience of prolonged mirror gazing can be disorienting, as it can cause the brain to perceive the reflection as a separate entity from oneself. This can lead to feelings of disassociation or depersonalization, in which one feels attached from their own body or identity. When it comes to the game, it begins by simply saying that it's you, right? And then questioning if it's truly you, and then going into words like void, no one, then later becoming beast, cryptid, unrecognizable, monster. It changes from you knowing yourself, that you are looking at yourself, to perhaps a disoriented and just a mess of yourself. It's additionally the names of the light switch, and even leaving changing from turn on the lights to end this madness, and even turning off the lights to please no. And heck, even the exit being called escape shows the character's anxiety and desperation to escape this unsettling atmosphere of the game, and is probably a deliberate attempt by the game's creator to intensify the psychological impact on the player by blurring the boundaries between the game and reality, showing that your character saying please no is still willingly able to turn off the light, which shows that you are the ultimately controlling it, and your character is just begging to not have the lights turn off. Them wanting to end this madness is separate from you, or likely will be the same goal. You had inflicted so much on your character already, and whilst you may not be as affected, your character is just wanting to leave. And with the exit being called escape, you would see it as just a normal end, but I guess as normal as, psychological phenomena go, but your character is seeing it as an escape from madness, an escape from this experiment. And that definitely does blur the boundaries between game and reality. Overall, The Mirror is an interesting and immersive game that uses visual and auditory effects to create a unique and extremely unsettling experience for players. However, it is important to note that whilst this game may not be suited for everyone, particularly those who may be a little more afraid to this kind of content, it is an extremely good and effective game at the sheer fact that even it states that the mirror is normal. But also, it is an effective game to perhaps show these effects that it's based on, right? And with that, if you're interested in exploring these phenomena and effects, like the Troxler effect, the strange face in the mirror phenomenon, then The Mirror is definitely worth checking out. But be prepared for a gradual and intense journey into the unknown. But that's all from me. Thank you all for 200 subs. I hope to keep growing and making content like this. So if you enjoyed, drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I've been Top Hat King, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.